Okay, and now some just final wrap-up thoughts on motivation and kind of what it all comes down to. Here's some concrete steps that you can do to increase your sailor and Marine's motivation to be a part of your team and to strive towards mission accomplishment and team viability. So if we think about that model of the leader is, the leader behaves, the followers react to that with their own behaviors, and this leads to certain outcomes. Motivation is an important part of that process. And so what are some of the behaviors that you can do in order to get your sailors and Marines motivated for being part of the team and getting the job done so you can achieve those outcomes? First of all, setting a culture and climate that aligns with the values and mission of the organization. So promoting personal dignity and respect as an important part of what we're trying to do here, right? That's going to align people so that they want to be part of the organization. And promoting a focus on accountability and performance. Like I said, people want to be in a job in which they perform well. By promoting a focus on accountability and performance, in addition to dignity and respect, people will start to realize that performance is an important part of their job, and they will achieve more and really focus more of their energy on achieving those higher levels of performance. I would give advice to provide incentives, in particularly making sure that consequences of effective and ineffective performance are known. And that's what I mean by providing incentives. Incentives alone don't achieve motivation, but they can have a role to play, particularly in clarity of expectations and helping people to understand the consequences of effective and ineffective performance. Make sure that you are providing resources and removing any impediments to goal attainment. This is a core job of a junior officer to be involved in this from the get-go. Influence the work characteristics, right? So influence the autonomy, the skill variety that people can bring, the opportunity for mastery, the task significance or purpose. Help people to understand what the purpose is. Try to give them as much autonomy as you can. Build in opportunities for skill variety and opportunities for mastery that are going to make people happy to be at work. Make sure that you're providing role clarity and job clarity. Do some sense making, which means help people to make sense of the mess that sometimes we find ourselves in. Do some really good planning. Make sure that assignments that go with that planning and the feedback that comes from watching people in their assignments and the delegation really provide people with a clarity of what is expected of them. That's an important part of them being motivated and choosing the behaviors that we want. You can do this by setting goals, making clear your expectations, by improving expectancy, either by building people's self-efficacy through challenging goals or by really just being encouraging sometimes as a part of that, giving them training, giving them resources as ways to improve their self-efficacy and their expectancy. You also want to improve their instrumentality. Draw those lines for why the work that someone is doing is important to our purpose, to our overall goal. And finally, try to influence that identity, that relationship between you and your followers. Build those relationships. That is so important. Having that alignment between leaders and followers, whether you're talking about individual consideration behaviors, that idea of taking care of your people, or just building relationships with them, both of those things are important and go together so that people are more willing to follow you. Look, there's a lot more to motivation than this, but I think this gives us a basic understanding of what we mean by motivation and how we can achieve it. This is a really important part of your job and something I want you to be intentional about and really think about how your actions impact the motivations of your team because that's really going to make the difference between good and great leadership.